Is this thing on? Welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to do a life update chit chat and a Q&A. I would have recorded more of the workout. All right, so I'm back from the gym. I finished my workout. Yeah, so now I'm about to get ready so y'all can get ready with me. I got a janky mic, sorry. But yeah. Is this thing on? Is it recording? Welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to do a life update chit chat and a Q&A. So if you're new here, click the subscribe button and the bell notification, join the tribe. But if you're not, welcome back again. I will try to commit to doing more videos or more frequent videos and just vlogging more and getting more content. Life has been so busy. There's been so much to do, so much I've been doing, so many things I've been working on. But let's, I guess, jump right into it. I'll start with what's new for Justin. One, I just reached my 1 year anniversary, or as the folks say here, the Dallasversary. So I've officially been living in Dallas for a full year. I've been kind of thinking about whether I want to stay here in Dallas or not. Maybe toying with the idea, or not stay here in Dallas, but stay here in this unit. I have slightly thought about moving to another city, but I love Dallas, so I'm staying for sure. But yeah, so I've been thinking about either whether I want to move to a new unit or renew my lease here. I don't know. So that's that. I may document the apartment tour journey. I've toured like our sister property and some of the other properties already. I'm actually touring a property this weekend. So by the time you guys see this video, I probably would have toured or headed to tour their property. But yeah, just preparing and wrapping my head around the 1 year mark of Dallas. Focused on some career updates, but also my business or businesses, I guess. What's next for me as far as side projects or side other investments and just growing as an individual as a whole. What else? What's else going on? I've been considering getting a new car. I didn't get a chance to really show y'all the current car, but by the time you see this video, there may be a new car. If so, I may give you guys a new car tour. But my current car is a Mercedes GLE 53 AMG Coupe. It's like white with the black interior, black AMG rims. But recently I've been feeling like my car is a bit ostentatious, although it's white, so it's a standard color and it has rims. But I feel like that car specifically just attracts a lot of attention. So many people love it, so many people want it. It's so many people's dream car, and that's not a bad thing. You know, I'm not saying that. But lately I've been feeling like I want something a little bit more elevated, but not too elevated, like not Rolls Royce elevated, but also a little reserved and classy, subtle, unpronounced, but like if you know, you know kind of car. So that's kind of where my headspace has been. I've been working on more content and just growing into this content creator phase of my life, checking these different platforms every day, looking for different opportunities, but then also committing to recording the content. And I've been receiving PR packages. Like recently, I have been added to the Youth to the People PR list. Yay. And a few other brands, like some of the fragrance brands. And you guys will see some of the content soon around the PR pieces that I've been getting, but also just kind of trying to secure paid opportunities since I am in the content creator space and just growing across the board. But there's other things that you guys don't know about me. So I guess part of the Q&A will get into those things. So with that being said, I guess we should jump straight into the questions. I did pour me a glass of 19 Crimes. So toast, cheers. If you are 21 and older in the U.S. or in other countries where they prohibit you drinking at an earlier age, pour a glass with me or take a shot. But if not, just drink some water. But I hope you guys enjoy the Q&A. I'll try to honestly answer every question. I'm sure there's some crazy questions in here, but yeah, we'll see. So without further ado, let's just jump straight into the questions. I asked on Instagram, just so you guys know, on Instagram and on Snapchat, a few questions or opened up the poll for people to ask me questions. And those are where I got the questions from. So if you did not get a chance to ask a question via Snapchat or Instagram, I'll put my handles in the description box below. So for future reference, if we decide to do another chit chat life update Q&A, I will include you guys and give you the opportunity to ask whatever you want to know about Jay Bradford or Justin. Okay, so the first question is, what's next for 80 West, and what other candle or fragrance brands inspire you? So for those of you guys who do not know, which by the way, tonight is sponsored by 80 West, which is my lifestyle based fragrance brand. I'll show y'all the candle without spilling it. If it'll focus. Ugh, I can't get it to focus. Hold on. But yeah, 80 West is my lifestyle based fragrance brand. Tonight, the fragrance of tonight is Concrete Rose. And 80 West just officially, I guess over the summer, turned 1 year old. And we have a few products. Sorry. We have a few products. That was kind of reckless, sidebar. But yeah, we have a few products that on our website currently. So the candles and the interior fragrances, which this is one of them. This is also the Concrete Rose fragrance in a 3 ounce or 100 milliliters, 3.3 ounce, but 100 milliliter. And then we have like these matches, which come with every candle order. So there's that branded matches. And then we have like some concrete catch-all trays. And am I missing something? I think right now those are the only things we have. So to answer the question, I think what's next for 80 West is unisex fragrances. I've realized over the last year, although the brand is very young, I have high expectations for myself. So I've decided that I want to branch into unisex fragrances for the brand. I'm a fragrance connoisseur myself. I have so many fragrances. And some of my friends come over and they have this running joke where they're like, before we go out, or if we're pre-gaming or we're here hanging out before we're going out on the town, they'll say, let's go shopping in Justin's bathroom. And some of their followers think it's like the coolest, cutest, funniest thing because I have so many fragrances. But with that, I also have samples that I keep in my second closet. And some of the guys got a chance to smell some of what those samples smell like, which some of those samples were created by my best friend Tony, because he was also working on some things for a brand that he's working on. And we had a conversation about me kind of branching out and growing the brand more and introducing these unisex fragrances. And so, yeah, that's what's next. Right now, I'm waiting for our bottle samples to come in. And we're going to start there. And then we're going to work with a fragrance, or what do you call it? I don't know what you would call them, but he's a perfumer, if you will. But he's going to help with that, the distribution of the fragrances and the creation of them. We're going to get in the lab and put some things together, put some notes together. And yeah, so that's what's next for 80 West. Also, there are a few accessories coming next for 80 West. I've decided that similar to fashion brands, because 80 West is heavily inspired, and myself are heavily inspired by fashion, like whether it's lifestyle, fashion, or runway, or fashion house, or streetwear, or all these new Instagram boutiques and so forth. We're going to pull some inspiration from the things that inspire me to be creative and add a few accessories that may be limited edition to the 80 West brand, but the fragrances are here to stay. So yeah, that's what's next for that. What the other part of that question was, what other candle fragrance brands inspire you? Mostly not candle brands, but it's mostly fragrance brands that inspire me. But some of those brands do have candles. So like Le Labo or Barredo or um, Maison Francis, Kirk Dijon. Some of those brands inspired me the most. Those are also brands that I wear. And I'm a huge advocate of elixing fragrances. I never gatekeep what I'm wearing with friends and strangers, but I also always elix or use like an elixir with the fragrances, i.e., the term elix. I kind of made that up. But I use an elixir with my fragrances to wear them so they're unique to my body. And everybody's body chemistry is different when it comes to fragrances. So that's a thing too. But yeah, I don't gatekeep any of the fragrances or anything that I use. I share it openly, but they have heavily inspired some of what I want to do. But then brands even like Margiela, they have fragrances. I think they have candles, but the fashion it inspires me the most, especially the way the brand indexes their products from like lipstick or beauty products, men's wear, women's wear, their sneakers and so forth. Like if you guys didn't know the numbers that you usually see attached to the Margiela branding, like 1 through 21, that's their indexing. So as you buy a different product from them, a different number will be circled. So like accessories and jewelry, the 11 will be circled. And one of my friends, Denzel, actually got a new wedding ring recently, and the 11 was circled, which it was cool because it was their 11th anniversary as being married, but the 11 is an indicator of like jewelry or like accessories. And then like I have a Timex watch that's a Timex and Margiela watch, but the 6 is circled. So that's like a different, I guess because it's a collaboration piece, there's a different number for that, although that is a watch piece. But anyway, there's different ways that the brand indexes their products. And so I'm heavily inspired by just that because it's so simple, but I think it's genius. The next question is, have you enjoyed living in Dallas? And I pretty much answered this question already. I wholeheartedly love Dallas. Me moving here was probably the best thing I could have done. The opportunity here is phenomenal. The warehouse that I use to pour, but then also fire safety test all of our candles and our products is located here in Richardson, which is like that's like north of Dallas. So it's like the suburbs, if you will, kind of, sort of. Um, but yeah, so moving here was a great idea. And if you got some of you guys didn't know, I do work still. So my job technically is based out of Dallas. I work in tech, so yeah, it just made sense. But I also have a lot of friends here, living here. Shopping is better here. Even the food, although some of the restaurants aren't all like amazing, there's a lot of fine dining here, and the food is still pretty good. Like, so unless you are from I'm from Memphis, so if I wanted to find wings, I probably wouldn't go to a lot of Dallas restaurants for wings in particular. But if I want to go get like oysters or just steak or, you know, gumbo or something like that, I can find a decent restaurant here and they'll have that. They just may not have like the best wings in the world, kind of thing. So, but all in all, Dallas is a vibe. The experience, the culture, the development here. There's so many businesses moving here, so many opportunities. You just you can only win here. I do believe, kinda, and y'all don't hate me. I do believe that the city is a tad bit overpriced when it comes to cost of living. I heard a local say, this guy who's from Dallas, he's like from the Oak Cliff area. He said in Dallas you either have it or you don't. Like he felt like there's not a lot of a middle class, which obviously every place has a middle class, but their middle class is basically lower upper class, if you will. There's not a real middle class in his opinion. And I haven't been here long enough to really assess their logic. But when I think about me and some of my friends, we do have phenomenal careers. We live a certain way, even down to cars. And not that the cars are end all be alls, but we drive certain cars. So when I thought about it, I was like, maybe he has a point. Maybe he's worth listening to it. Like his opinion is worth valuing because there may be something to that. I do think maybe hopefully in the next few years there a change comes with that because it shouldn't be that way. But that's bigger than me. That it'll just take more than me to figure that out. The next question is, what are two things on your bucket list you haven't checked off yet? That's a tricky question. I don't really think I have a real bucket list. I may have like intricate items that have stages to complete for the bucket list. Obviously, Ada West and growing the brand is one of them. Growing the brand in to new heights in new ways, in ways that I can only dream of. I won't say them out loud because to a lot of people, when you share what your thoughts, your dreams are, you sound ludicrous until you can make them happen. One of my friends always says, your plans and your dreams should be so delusional. Wait, am I saying it wrong? Like your plans or your dreams should be so delusional that only you believe them until you make them your reality, and then the rest of the world sees it. And sometimes with that comes people celebrating after you've made it to a certain point. They don't celebrate or support you in the process, but they wait till it's popular to celebrate. And by all means, I know who the tribe is. I know who my customers are, who my audience base is currently. If it becomes popular later on to support whatever I have going on, money is green, so I won't complain about it. I'll recognize it as for what it is, but that's it. Other than that, maybe just more travel on the bucket list. Maybe going to like Australia or adding Japan to the list. Maybe jumping like skydiving. Um, I don't know. Maybe building my dream mini um, compound, like not a big compound, but like a small, very industrial but modern compound. Like it will be very just encoded. So if you know, you know, you when you see it, you'll know that it's very me. The next question is, if I was in your presence right now, what would you do? Probably ask you 1,001 questions. Read the room, feel your energy, pick up on the vibe, pour you a glass of wine just so you can like unwind and relax a little bit. Um, I'm not gonna say what else I would do because yeah, it's not appropriate for the camera probably. Um, what was your worst sexual experience? It would have to be when I was in undergrad. So I was hanging out with this person this one time, this guy, and we were in my dorm room, and I could tell he was like interested in me or whatever, but he was so musty. So we didn't even get to the sex. Like there was like some kissing involved, but it just didn't get far. I just couldn't get past the onion smell. So I was. It's kind of embarrassing because I was like, I can't do this. Like what? Like why would you even come to hang out with me? Come and get a drink with me or anything if like you had bo? I didn't understand that. So I guess that wasn't sexual for me. It was sexual for him because he like finished, but I didn't do anything to help him finish. If that makes sense. He his hands were very involved. I'll say that. I'll try to keep it PG, but yeah, it was the weirdest thing ever. I just couldn't. I still to this day, that's probably one experience that I wish I didn't have because he was very musty. So yeah, that's that. The next question is, when are we bleep? When are we fucking? Can I say that on YouTube? If I can, we will bleep that out. I'm not answering that on camera. I have to just text you that answer. I'll text it now. That way y'all can see that I said it on camera. I'm going to respond to that question on camera now. Okay, so got that out of the way. I'm not answering it on camera. Sorry. Y'all gonna have to just, if you want to know the question, once the video goes live, you're gonna have to just go to my Instagram or something and ask me what my answer was. And I may show you the screenshot of the text message. But yeah. So the next question is, which this question is from Denzel. Some of the friends names I can say. I don't have everybody's permission to say their names on camera, but Denzel asks, who is your celebrity crush? So one of the my crush or crushes or whatever he's a doctor. I'm not gonna say his name. They all know who he is, but message. But yeah. So the next question is, which this question is from Denzel. Some of the friends names I can say. I don't have everybody's permission to say their names on camera, but Denzel asks, "Who is your celebrity crush?" So one of the my crush or crushes or whatever is a he's a doctor. I'm not gonna say his name. They all know who he is, but I feel like there's been so much like crazy stuff going on with that situation. I'm not gonna say the name. I don't think technically he's a celebrity, but he kind of is. So yeah, I'm not gonna say his name, but he's a doctor. But maybe an unusual doctor. it's not. He's not an MD or a physician. So just think about it. If y'all can figure it out, oh well, send me the name in my DMs, and maybe I'll tell y'all if that's the person or not. Another crush I have is the guy from Raising Kanan. What's his name? Like the main character. I just saw him on Instagram. He was walking into a basketball game, and yeah, he's so handsome to me, but he's not, gay, so I'm not projecting or anything. But he is a very attractive guy, and I think he's super talented. I thought I sent the video of him to my friends, but maybe I didn't. I was gonna show y'all on camera who he is. Y'all know who it is though. I think his name on the show is actually Kanan or something. I don't know, but that guy. Um, who else? I kind of have a crush on Tiana Taylor. She's just fine. Like her body's immaculate. It's amazing, actually. Like, how do you get your body that perfect? So Tiana Taylor is one. Um, I'm trying to think who else. Some of the other people aren't celebrities. Like they're maybe influencers or maybe popular on social media. But they're not celebrities. There may be a few others that I just can't really think of. A few basketball players, a few football players like Odell Beckham. I mean, like he's a handsome man, so I don't want to say I have a crush on him, but I think he's very attractive. I think I named the person that I have currently the biggest crush on. Well, I didn't say the name, but I'm not going to say the name, but y'all can figure it out. Um, what advice would you give to aspiring entrepreneurs? I would say that nothing worth having will grow overnight. Like it takes work. If it's a business strategy or a business idea that you have that you're passionate about, continue to water it. Sometimes it takes time, so don't give up, but make sure you give yourself enough room and enough planning to make things make sense. Like currently, I don't pay myself from AWS because we just haven't made enough money and the brand hasn't been existing long enough. Do I invest money back into AWS that I make from sales? Absolutely. But I don't pay myself a CEO salary from AWS, if that makes sense. And so that's one thing I think you have to be mindful of. And sometimes you're your best advocate. Sometimes you have to be your own mouthpiece and your own billboard. So be there. Walk into spaces and not be afraid to advocate for yourself, not be afraid to advertise for yourself, and put yourself out there and do the things that make you uncomfortable. There's a lot of things that I feel like make me feel uncomfortable, or at some point I felt timid by, but now I'm a completely different human being. I will walk into spaces, talk to strangers about the products, talk to strangers about all my businesses, all the things that Justin has going on. And I'm confident and comfortable in doing that because sometimes that's what it takes. But also just try to find new ways to put yourself out there and be open to feedback. Everything you won't be able to take lightly that comes with growth. But once you get to a point where you can take criticism and feedback, then you'll be better off. Some things are probably going to hurt your feelings, but you'll grow thicker skin, but you'll ponder on it. You'll think about it and you'll put that back into your business. Find ways to just push yourself. And you might not have the biggest budget in the beginning. I'm learning that. So when it comes to marketing and all those things, sometimes you got to do your best with what you have. And every idea can be content. Every idea can be a post. Every idea can be a reason to say something, to share something. and maybe find some mentors. I'm in a space where I'm trying to find my for myself mentors in the e-commerce space. I have mentors in other areas, but they're not experts when it comes to e-commerce. So I can take their feedback and apply it to my business. But sometimes, and not that you have to be an expert or something to give good advice, but there comes a time and place where the advice you need to hear needs to come from someone who's an expert at what you're doing or has experience in what you are doing or what you're working on, if that makes sense. It's like if you want to be a real estate agent, but you were taking advice from somebody who's not a real estate agent or a broker, or if you want to be like a pediatrician, but you're getting advice from somebody who's never been to med school. Sometimes the advice needs to come from someone who's an expert or has experience in that field. What is your dream brand partnership deal? I would say maybe Sacred. Um, One, I'm a customer of Sacred. I use Sacred in a few other brands, but I enjoy the brand. But recently, Beyonce shared her experience with psoriasis, and so I do suffer from dermatitis myself. I thought it was psoriasis, but I think I learned recently after going to a black dermatologist that I was misdiagnosed. But sometimes I would get breakouts in my T zone here, in the middle of my chest, and then my scalp gets really bad flare ups. So I would love to work with Sacred. One, because Beyonce was vulnerable and human enough to share that she has psoriasis and has suffered from psoriasis. And I just love the fact that Sacred is rooted in so much research for the brand. And as a guy who wears braids and other styles, twists, but also big curly hair, I would love to wear, use, be featured in some Sacred ads using some Sacred products. Um, Another brand would be Gymshark. I I'm a gym head, but not to the point where I'm trying to like get big and bulky and crazy. But I love wearing Gymshark products. To me, they're one of the best fitness brands or fitness apparel brands that there is. Their clothing or the material of the clothing holds you in place, so you can work out without stuff moving around. So many times I've worn like compression shorts and just shorts in general that don't hold everything in place. Even shirts like their gym tanks, they accentuate everything like your chest, and as human beings we will still have imperfections, so it's not like shapewear. But for girlies and guys who work out, Gymshark is phenomenal. The socks are great, the gloves are great. I have a mini gym bag within a big gym bag. I will be honest, as a guy, the mini gym bag makes me feel like I'm wearing a purse. But it's still good if you want to go and do a quick workout and not have to, haul around a big bag. I throw my keys in, I throw in my topicals, spray, and gloves and whatever else. Speaking of, the next brand I would love to do a partnership with is Topicals. I live by some of their lip products, the mask, and then I use their spray. I can't remember the name of it. I'll tell y'all what it's called. You guys know what it is, but it's like the green spray. But I'll show y'all which spray I'm talking about. It's the topicals. Where is it? Let me see if I can find it on. Oh, the topicals, clearly clarifying and calming mist for acne prone skin. Is it focusing? Can y'all see that? But that's the spray. So with that spray, what I do is anytime I'm outside and I'm sweating and I can't get home to wash my face again, or if I'm at the gym, or if I have any flare ups or anything, spray this mist on my face, and you don't pat it dry, you don't rub it or anything, just spray, and it calms your skin, and it's like a temporary cleanse. But some of the active ingredients in it are really good for right after the gym, from when you're sweating before you get home to shower, or if you're out in the sun a lot and you're doing some sweating, or if you have like a simple flare or some form of irritation. I won't say flare, but irritation. But love the topical products. And I love their under eye patches. I use them for the airport, and I've been using under eye patches for a long time when I'm traveling, especially the Peter Thomas Roth. But nothing stays in place like a topicals under eye patch. So, and I've had like fillers and stuff like that under my eyes before, but the in between maintenance for me would be like good skin care, good wash, good moisturizer, and under eye patches. Another brand that I would love to partner with is You to the People, which recently I did get added to their PR list. So I think there's going to be some content and stuff on the way. I live by You to the People. I will take the camera in the bathroom and show y'all, but I'll show y'all in a different video. I have so many of their products currently, the body products, the facial products, the nighttime serums, the whole 9 yards. Again, the deep puff serum for your under eye, the caffeine energy serum for all over your face and neck, like for in the mornings. Just everything. So many different products for them, and they are really good, especially with someone who has sensitive skin, but then also psoriasis. Some of my friends didn't even realize, not psoriasis, but dermatitis. I have to get in the habit of not saying that. But some of my friends didn't realize that I had any flare-ups when it comes to dermatitis on my skin or in my T-zone, because the products that I use from topicals, like their mist and their mask, but then also from You to the People, help keeps my skin clear of breakouts and flakes and tears in the skin, because some of the products that the dermatologist will give you, if they're not the right dermatologist, can be too harsh on the skin and cause breakage in the skin, because the skin on our face is the softest skin on our body pretty much. So yeah, some things you just kind of have to be mindful of. So in between using those ointments or those creams or those topical creams for my dermatitis, I try to stick to the skin products or facial products that are best for me, that work best for me, and causes the least breakouts. But yeah, I think that, I mean, maybe a few other fragrance brands, but I won't be long winded on that. There's so many brands that I feel like I would want to partner with, but right now those are at the top of my list: Sacred, You to the People, and Topicals, and Gymshark. The next question is, what are some of your favorite childhood memories? I would have to say just like memories of church with my family. When I was younger, my mom made it like a household tradition for us to go to church, and then we'll go out to dinner together, like um, after church. And so I always look forward to going to like the buffets. Like, I don't know if, depending on where you're from, you may have not had Orion's, but we had Orion's in Memphis where I'm from. So we would go to Orion's after church and do the like family buffets. And that's when I learned that people lied about their ages or whatever to get into buffets or get certain pricing for the family. And then we would do like their rolls, like they had like these yeast rolls with like this honey butter and like ice cream machines. Like it was just really, really good. Um, and then also we sometimes we were freaking like the Tom Lee Park in Memphis. That was like our tradition. I'm from a big family. Like there's nine. My mom has 9 children. So there's a lot of things we did together. There's not a lot of memories I have without my siblings being involved, at least one of them, because some of us were joined like at the hip, like we were inseparable. Um, but yeah, I will also say some of my church memories. As I was like a teenager, I joined like Boy Scouts and Boy Scouts of America and just programs like that. And I did that through our church. So I would do like summer camp and go and earn merit badges and just being able to be away from my mom, because I was sheltered as a kid. There wasn't a lot of things I could do. So when I was able to do things, to me, my fun or my outlet was achievement, which I guess maybe makes sense as to why I'm so driven as an adult. The only way I could have fun was through achieving something. Like there weren't a lot of times I was allowed to go to the skating rink with just my friends without supervision or the movies. My fun was, oh, joining Boy Scouts of America and then doing summer camp and going to earn merit badges, or joining Future Business Leaders of America and then some of the teams at my high school winning first place at nationals. But me and all the teams that were a part of our school's organization would make it our business to place a state regionals, so we can get a trip to nationals. And that was my version of fun, because outside of competition and trying to win, we could go out, we can go to restaurants. Our coaches were on our backs, and my mom, she never knew that, because if she did, she wouldn't let me be in it. So I never told her that they weren't like on us 24/7. I still did things with reason and the responsible way to do things, because I knew if I did anything that she didn't approve of, I probably wouldn't be sitting here today, because my parents definitely believed in discipline. So yeah, those are some of my favorite childhood memories. Just church, being with my siblings and family, Ryan's, and I remember even when my older siblings were allowed to go do stuff on their own. Like we would drop them off at Jillian's, or my big sister, she was a majorette, so we would drop her and friends off at practice and just stuff like that. But there wasn't stuff that I could just do. What I mean, obviously not being a majorette, but like just the freedom of doing things on my own. Like my mom, when she got to me and the sister right behind me, she was strict, but we found our outlets. Because those things drove me to do better, bigger, greater things at a young age, and it shaped me to who I am today. So although I was sheltered, it came full circle, and it worked to my advantage in some ways in life in general. Um, the next question is, what is your favorite piece of jewelry? I don't know if I have a favorite piece. One of my newest pieces is my Van Cleef necklace. It's like the onyx. Can y'all see it? It's like the onyx color in the 18 karat gold. Also, my love band, and then my just unclued with the diamonds. Are probably. Oh, my favorite piece is this new watch that I have from Pascal Designs. It's their version of the Cartier Crush watch, or is it Crash watch? The Cartier Crash watch, maybe. But it's like it has that irregular shape, and it's gold with the green, um, like stones. I think on the inside with like these like. I want to say it has like some form of a diamond investment, but I don't know if it's like real diamonds. Now I would love to partner with them too. So Pascal Designs, if y'all get a wind of this video, call me. Call me fast. Um, but yeah, so the Pascal Designs watch. If you go to my Instagram page, the post that's on my page with one wearing like the all black with the green hat and the red Pumas and like that gray bag, the watch that I'm wearing is the Pascal Design watch. But outside of that, it would have to be this new Van Cleef onyx and gold necklace, one motif necklace. I have the 5 motif bracelet too that matches it, but then I love these pieces from Cartier, especially the Just Unclued. I think I want a Just Unclued bracelet too, but I'll wait, because I'm trying to budget and not spend all this money so fast, and be mindful of what I spend my money on. So I haven't bought anything new in a while, but I did get this for my birthday. So that was like the last major piece of jewelry that I bought. What would you describe as your ideal date? It would probably have to be like a trip out of the country. Maybe like something chill, low key, where we don't have to take a whole lot of clothes. Warm, but not real hot, on the beach somewhere. Something reserved. And maybe a resort, like a place that has a lot of things for us to do. Go get a couples massage. Go lay out by the beach. Go do dinner. Go do some like outdoor activities like zip lining, just a bunch of things. And or something that's activity based or museum based, which there isn't a museum of fun, I think it's called. Something like that requires a lot of engagement, something that's out of the box and not typical dinner, movie, date, kiss, sex, whatever. Because anybody can do that, right? Think outside the box, right? Push me out of my comfort zone or challenge me on the first date. Ask me some questions that are going to make me choke up. And then what else? I think that's it. Yeah, just being challenged on a date and just doing something that's out of the norm. I would love to do a trip to like Sedona, Arizona, or Scottsdale, and do like hot air balloons. Maybe a relaxation trip as a date, but just getting like unwinding, but doing something that's fun and challenging but then also something that's scenic. That would be the ideal date. What new products are coming out with 80 West? So I think I answered that already. We're gonna do some unisex fragrances, and then there are gonna be a few waves of accessories that come to 80 West. Some that are probably part of a trend to the world, but also that are reminiscent of who 80 West, but then also Jay Bradford, but then also some nods to my mom and the things that she loves, which a Concrete Rose is a nod to who she was. Her favorite flowers were roses and then magnolias, but like specifically white magnolias. We always had a magnolia tree growing up. That was one of my favorite memories, being able to climb those trees. Every home that we lived in, most of them had a magnolia tree. And in the springtime, they would bloom, but they weren't like the flowers that you cut with a stem. Magnolias kind of grew off of like these mini branches, if you will. So you rarely see them inside of a vase or something like that. Now for these new like planters that people are using with like these with the spikes that hold the flowers, they could probably be in a flower arrangement with a vase or vase like that. Um, but not like a traditional vase. But yeah, so roses and magnolias were my mom's favorite flowers. So when I thought of Concrete Rose, I thought of her, and that's how this fragrance for the candles and the interior fragrance came about. I in a sense, have thought about apparel for 80 West, but I'm waiting on a certain someone to launch their brand. So pushing and supporting one of my friends in their area so that we can collaborate in that space. Because I do have an eye for fashion in a few pieces, but I want to wait because I also, again, like I said earlier, 80 West is inspired by a lot of fashion houses and like Instagram boutiques or some of these like streetwear brands that you see now on Instagram who are growing so fast and they're doing so well. I would love to partner with this particular brand once it launches to do some collaborations. And I think that's something that a lot of brands don't always do. They will partner with other brands as far as creativity for their vessels or their bottles or the art, but you rarely see a full-on collection. So I would love to do a collab where there's like a fragrance that's inspired by the fashion and then fashion inspired by 80 West. So like it's a two-way street. So in the future, in the far future, that's a plan for 80 West. Or maybe it'll be near, depends on what brand approaches us first or that we approach first. But one thing after the next, we have to work on our reach and our awareness and then also rolling out new products too. What do you believe are your what do you believe are key tools to your success? I would say being able to pivot. I learned early on and I was exposed to people in rooms or tables where I learned that it was okay to pivot from something. Like if something isn't working, if there's a business strategy or a model that is not working or something that's no longer serving you, you shift and you pivot, you move on to the next thing. And I learned that before starting my first business. I learned that with work. And honestly, in my career, by the age of 25, I was already making six figures from corporate America. And because the world tells you as a black man in corporate America that there's so many spaces where you won't be respected or appreciated, which I felt some of that through that journey, but some of it you just kind of learn to stomach or you learn to deal with it a certain way because there's a way to handle and approach every issue. And outlashing or responding with that isn't always welcomed as a black man because we're painted as angry or all these things as a black person in general. But outside of that, in approaching certain issues in a corporate America a certain way or the right way, I would say when I learned that some things no longer served me, I left. But that's also how I got more money. I arrived to those spaces. I did the thing, the job, the task, grew the department, however, and added or contributed however way I was supposed to. And I went on to the next company. And by the time you learn the new skill sets or add to your resume, well, they're paying you more for those new things, those new attributes added to your resume. So you go on and do something else and you just keep going and you don't stay. And I've also learned that although I'm passionate about my career, these businesses that I've worked for are not mine, so I can't be passionate about them, which is why maybe sometimes from Instagram and Snapchat and all the other platforms, a lot of you don't realize or even know that I have a career or a job, but that's because I'm passionate about showing what's mine, like 80 West, like Correct Choice Tax Solutions, um, like influencing or being a creator. I'm not those things full time. Because I have a unique skill set. Until I'm ready, good and ready, and really comfortable in what I'm producing for my own things. That's when I'll probably retire early from corporate America and just work for self. But at some point, you just gotta go ahead and make the jump. Sometimes the jump and the growth in life will scare you enough to where you work 10 times harder. And I'm learning that in this current season too. Um, my rule of thumb in life is always that I don't believe in a reduction mindset, right? But then sometimes I cut back on some things, but that's not because I'm reducing. It's because I'm increasing in another area, whether it's saving, whether it's buying a new property, whether it's trying to invest in some more real estate or invest in my business or invest in 80 West. I'm not reducing in one area and not increasing somewhere else. So I don't believe in a reduction mindset. I will work harder and work smarter to have more, and not necessarily more money, but just more in general, more freedom, more access, um, more resources, a stronger network. I will do more to grow in those areas so that I can invest in or give back to the areas that I feel like need growth from Justin across the board, no matter which business or whatever I'm doing, right? Even with moving, I had to go ahead and make that jump. I felt like I needed it. It made sense for 80 West. I saved money on shipping like these empty jars and vessels back and forth. The facility is here. I got more done. I rolled out products quicker. Me moving to a bigger city where I'm a smaller fish needed to happen so that way I could grow into a bigger fish. Even with Instagram, like when I moved to Dallas, I only had 2,800 followers, and this is just like a small or like surface example. I had 2,800 followers. Me moving to Dallas, posting more, and deciding to do more content took me from like 2,800 to like 14.9 thousand followers, which over the last few days I've lost a thousand or two. But I've learned sometimes that happens. Sometimes some people need to go because you're outgrowing them when it comes to content and you're in growing the brand or the social media or all the things. And I just saw De'Ara talking about that on her most recent Q&A, which she inspired this video. So shout out to De'Ara because that's one of the creators that I started watching early on before these other platforms blew up. But anyway, sorry for the sidebar. Um, yeah, I just learned to pivot and walk away from opportunities. Although sometimes that's hard to do if it's time to just do that. Sometimes your mental well-being and your growth is more important than the idea of comfort. And some of my mentors from undergrad and from STS Enterprise taught me that whenever you become comfortable, you become stagnant. So sometimes I look at discomfort and some of the things that I overthink about as me trying to grow as a man, as a person, as a brand, and growing my businesses. What's one item that you recently bought that you realize you might not like? Um, let me see. I think one item that I recently purchased that I realized I may not like. These days, I've been better at not buying things that I do not like, but there may be some things that I haven't worn. I will say my Louis Vuitton Gaston wearable wallet, I don't like. I bought it a few years ago in Aruba. Me and Wig, i.e. Gina. Gina is Wig. Me and Wig were in Aruba and I bought this bag and I thought I liked it then, but I do not like it. And also, I have a pair of the Louis Vuitton like millionaire frames. It has like the gold LV in the middle. As I've grown older, and at that time I was probably like 24, 25, maybe, or 26. I probably was younger than that when I bought the millionaire frames. I forgot how old I was when I went to Aruba, but it was a few years ago. But now I'm 29, so I've grown into like a more calm and subtle me. Like I guess the me that's always been at the root that nice that I like nice things, but they don't have to always be ostentatious. I've gone out of my ostentatious era. I love quiet luxury. I love simple pieces that look like they are quality, but they don't scream all these brands and monogram and logos all over the place. I think I hate that at this point in my life. So I would say maybe my Louis Vuitton Gaston wearable wallet, and then bags that I feel like I don't give enough light or wear time to is my Loewe puzzle bag and my Louis Vuitton locket tote. It's like the men's tote, which I wear when I go to coffee shops. But I'm also still in the South. Although Dallas is progressive, we're still in the South. There's places that wouldn't even let me wear this tank. Mind you, this isn't a regular Hanes tank. This is like a tank that Denzel found me off of Amazon. So it's kind of stylish in a sense. You can wear it as like just a top because it's form fitting. It fits well. You know, holds things together. There's even nicer tanks that I've gotten from like the Cat brand, the Cat construction brand in um, Urban Outfitters collaboration. Certain pieces here in the South that don't allow men to wear inside of certain venues, and that bothers me because I don't get it. If I was in New York, I can wear it anywhere, and it wouldn't even make a difference. Some places are more about what it looks like versus the fashion or the art of the style. New York is one of those places where the fashion and art of style is more important than what you have on. Like a restaurant is not going to tell you you can't wear that in here and put you out. But in Dallas, you're not getting in, and that bothers me. But I would have to say the Gaston wearable wallet. I don't think there's anything else that I've bought recently. I'm kind of looking around to see if there's anything that I've bought recently that I regret buying. But I don't think so. I've been really good lately at buying what I know I like and saving some things to buy them later. I might regret how much I've spent on some things. Oh, actually, in a nutshell, there's some designer jewelry that I think I regret buying, not because I don't like it, but because of the price. I saw one of a content creator that I follow. Well, you guys probably know who she is. Her name is Jackie Aina, and one of my friends was sharing with me earlier this month or in July that she shared that a lot of her jewelry pieces are jeweler made. So I realized that there's jewelers who would make necklaces that still look like your Van Cleef or your Cartier, and they're like a fraction of the cost. So I regret this idea or this notion that we feel like we need to buy them from the actual high-end jewelry brands because usually we're overpaying for them, which in the long run they can become investment pieces. So I won't say I regret it all the way or 100%, but just thinking about how much money I could save or how many more pieces I could get if I found a jeweler to custom make them and they look exactly the same, right? However, I mean, I've still bought pieces from the stores like my Cartier and my Van Cleef. There's some pieces that I have bought from jewelers and like that are custom, but they're not completely custom because they look like something the other brands, but they're 100% gold, 100% real diamonds or stones. So I regret the price that I spent on some things, but I don't regret any of the pieces that I bought recently, besides the Gaston wearable wallet. Um, if you had to get a second dog, what breed would you get? Obviously, a standard poodle. I already have Artemis. He's 6 years old now. He's a big boy. He's an old man basically at this point. I would either get another standard poodle or I would get maybe a standard schnauzer. I don't think I want a giant schnauzer because they get pretty big. Artemis is about 58 pounds at the heaviest usually. So probably another dog around that size. So and usually standard poodles they get along well. Like most people that I know that have poodles, they have more than one sometimes. Like there's two couples that live in my building and they both have standard poodles and they both have two of them. Artemis is a loner, so I would probably either get another standard poodle or a standard schnauzer. I don't like breeds that shed. So although those are cute, all of them are out of the question. I don't want any dog hair in my house. Um, what's your favorite cocktail and why? I have a few, But my number one favorite cocktail would have to be a French 75 with Empress gin, which is like the lavender or violet color like gin. But once you add it to the French 75 with the champagne and the lemonade, it turns like lavender, like a light lavender. And for my 25th birthday, there was my signature cocktail. And the funny thing is, a lot of my friends had not ever had a French 75 until that birthday party. And if they had one, they had never had one with Empress Gin. But my friend TT, she introduced me to the French 75 with Empress Gin. There's a bar in Memphis called 8 Insane inside of the Central Station where the hotel is. And a lot of bars don't carry Empress Gin, but Central Station usually always has Empress Gin. So wherever you are, or if you're ever in Memphis, go to Central Station or any bar and ask for a French 75. But if they have Empress Gin, get it with Empress Gin. But wherever you are, just try it. Or buy that, look up the recipe at home and order you a bottle of Empress Gin. Nowadays, you can like DoorDash alcohol. So DoorDash it to your house, show your ID, make sure you're old enough to drink, because I don't condone underage drinking. And whip up a French 75 with Empress Gin. Or try it with tequila if you prefer tequila, and just add like a lavender liqueur to it. That way you can at least reach the color that it usually is if you don't like gin. My second favorite cocktail would have to be French 75, only because I drink coffee. I'm a coffee connoisseur, whether it's like a cappuccino or straight black coffee, like Americano style, or a latte, or whatever it is. I drink so many variations of coffee or coffee based beverages. It's one of my favorite. So yeah, I would have to say espresso martini. And I don't like mine with a lot of Baileys in it. I know some people prefer an espresso martini with Baileys, but Baileys has dairy in it. Now, if they released a dairy-free version of Baileys, well, it shouldn't be too far away, because I mean, we're in 2025. There's dairy-free cheeses and sour creams and cream cheese spreads and bagel spreads and everything. So I mean, a dairy-free Baileys shouldn't be hard to achieve. But yeah, I prefer dairy-free. And so yeah, Bailey's is too rich for me. I try to stay away from a lot of the sugars and things that stick to my stomach because my torso is short. So the worse off the food or sugar or fat or sodium is, the thicker my midsection get because it's short. So yeah. I'll also have to say this matcha martini that Tyrone made. So for Thanksgiving, Tyrone and Mark and I spent Thanksgiving together because none of us went home. And Tyrone made us a matcha martini, which is a espresso martini with a matcha latte mixed in. Or you can just do like the straight matcha with like a little milk. But we cheated a little bit. We went and got matcha latte from Starbucks with no ice. And he made us espresso martinis and added matcha to it. But Fred's signature cocktail is my friend Fred, his signature cocktail is lemon drop martini. When I'm out with the boys, that's usually one of my go-tos as well. It's pretty easy. Now, if it's like a long night and I'm trying to stay up or stay coherent, I also do and like kind of stay away from all the sugars and the fats and the wheats and all that stuff. I'll do a tequila soda with a splash of cranberry. Although the question was my favorite cocktail. I have a few favorites, but my top two would be it's the French 75 with Empress Gin and the Espresso Martini. What's been inspiring you lately? I would say a lot of raw materials in a way. A lot of the simple things. Even just apartment living. Like although I have like this corner unit with like big windows and all of that, I kind of miss living in my loft when I lived in Memphis at National Rose. It was so simple, and the owner Amy, the space just made so much sense. The functionality in spaces have been inspiring me a lot lately. Fashion has been inspiring me a whole lot these days. And what else? Experiences too. I think the nostalgia that I get from certain experiences with my friends are very reminiscent of my upbringing, but then also just lessons and things that my mom shared with me have been inspiring me a lot lately. I mean, again, that's how I created Concrete Rose. There's days where I just think about her in the most random ways, and I think about some of the lessons that, as a kid, that didn't click in my head, or the reverse psychology went over my head. But as an adult, those things that had meanings now have additional meanings because parents are like witty in that way, or at least my mom was. And so even for her, and now that she's passed, she's been inspiring me a whole lot lately. So I will say my mom, and then just a lot of the simple things and functionality of spaces, like a functionality of anything, to have something that can do 4 and 5 different things, or have the most simple design, the most simple meaning, the most simple existence, but worth the creation, has been mind blowing for me lately. Because so many things will be intricate for no reason and only have one purpose. So yeah. Um, the next question is, how can I get into content creating? I would say